Okay. Okay, so here we're gonna start by, mentioning a lot of information from the publication 4961. This could be found in the www.irs.gov website. You don't need, if you want to see it for yourself, you can go ahead and look it up in the irs.gov. But right now I'm just gonna go over it. You don't need to print it out or anything because we're gonna go over the material here. So the name of this publication is the Volunteer Standards of Conduct and Ethics Training Handbook. Okay, so the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, we have a mission, and our mission is to assist eligible taxpayers in satisfying their tax responsibilities by providing free tax return preparation. To establish the greatest degree of public trust, volunteers are required to maintain the highest standards of ethical conduct and provide quality service. So here I have some pictures of us. This was during our super week when COVID hit. We still were assisting clients. So this was a very unique method that we took, which it's gonna be kind of sort of that way this year. So we're gonna try, right now y'all will explain the process a little more. I know a lot of people were reaching out to me, wondering how the process was going to be. So I wanted to clarify that right now in a bit. So let's move on. Okay, so there are some volunteer requirements. Some of them is to complete the Volunteer Standards of Conduct certification, which you're here for that. You're here to get that training in order for you to test for the Volunteer Standards of Conduct. You must agree to adhere to the Volunteer Standards of Conduct by signing a form 13615, which you're looking at it right here. If you want to see it, there's an example on page 20 on your 6744. The training material that you picked up. If not, it's linked in the chat box. That's the form that you will need to bring to the site. All the tax preparers, the quality reviewers, and law instructors must certify with the 80% or higher on the tax law prior to volunteering. You need when you take your exam, this form will come out, and you can print it out, bring it to the site. You need to sign it and show it to the site coordinator. So when you show it to the site coordinator this year, you do need to show your driver's license or an identification from the government, like a passport. Your name and your name here on the form, they do need a match. So you might go by the name of Jen and your name is Jennifer. You have to put your whole name, and it does have to match your driver's license or ID, because the site coordinator is gonna be in charge of checking that. You also get 2 tries on your exam. You get the test that we're going to go over right now, and there is another retest on the link and learn. You have to certify based on what you want your position. So not all the volunteers will be advanced certified. Some are going to be basic, like our high school students and volunteers. They are basic certified, but most of our volunteers, we always try to aim for the advanced certification. So you just want to keep that in mind. Also, when you present this form to the site coordinators, they will give you like a name badge. I don't know if y'all see it here, but I'm putting it up. And this name badge, you're gonna write your name. It could be your nickname. And here on the side, they're either gonna put A for advanced or B for basic. It's just to identify, your certification level. So that's the name badge you will have. You always want to wear it. I know you're not gonna be seeing clients face to face, but other volunteers might just want to call you by your name, and we want to see your level of certification. So in this form, it is going to say here if you passed or you failed. No, not failed. I don't think you get one if you failed, but if you passed, it will have a P for passing, like P for passing your advanced, your basic, your site coordinator training, if you're a site coordinator. So yeah, so if you've been a previous volunteer, you're still gonna have to show your ID this year, just IRS requirements. And you do have to bring it at every site. So if today I'm gonna go to United Way and I'm new, I have to take it to United Way. And then tomorrow I go to the Goodwill site, I have to take that form at Goodwill. If I forget to print it out, I can print it out there, but I can't go and not have it ready. Like you can't go and be like, I want to test and get it. No, you have to already have tested. Okay. And there is going to be a signing sheet every day at the site that you're going to be at. So go ahead and please sign in every day. We do need your, your in time, your out time, your first and your last name, your address, your phone number, and your email address, certification level, and the total hours that you completed. So just make sure you sign in. Last year, I know a lot of volunteers from UTRGV, STC, they VITA hours were part of a requirement for their class, for a class, and a lot of them forgot to sign in, or something like that happened, and we didn't have it on record. It got really messy, but just go ahead and just remember to always sign in. There has to be a signing sheet. We also use it for grant purposes, calculating the hours of our volunteers. So just remember to do that. Okay, so as a volunteer in the VITA program, you must follow the quality site requirements. So there are volunteer requirements. There is also site requirements. So some of these site requirements, we're going to go over it in the next slides, but that's one of the things that you must follow. You must not accept payments, solicit donations, or accept refund payments for federal or state tax return preparations from customers. So these clients, they're so nice sometimes that they want to pay us for the services, but you cannot accept those, cash donations. They're gonna tell you, no, yes, here's a tip. I would have paid much more at another place, but you just can't. You just need to thank them and explain, that you can accept the money. Sometimes the clients do bring us food, and it just depends on your site coordinator if they want to take it or not. But in this case, how things are with COVID, it's really gonna have to depend with your site coordinator, because we really don't want anybody to get sick if it's open food or something like that. So just keep that in mind. Number 3, not solicit business from taxpayers you assist, or use the knowledge you gained, their information about them, for any direct or indirect personal benefit for you or any other specific individual. So what this means is that we have a list of, rules that a lot of clients won't qualify to get VITA services. So if a client earns more than 60,000, they might still go to our site and we might still try to help them. But once you identify, this client earns much more than our threshold, which is 60,000, he earns maybe 70,000, but we just can't assist him. And you tell him, I'm sorry, but since you earn much more than our threshold, we're not going to be able to continue. So if let's say you're with that client that is out of scope of a lot of our VITA thresholds, you're just gonna tell them thank you and let them leave. But if you're a CPA, you might think, I can get this client and help him out on this side, like not through VITA, but I'll help him out over here and I'll just get money out of it. That's a no. You know, you can't do that. Don't solicit business from taxpayers, you know, with the knowledge that you gained, like their information. Okay, not knowingly prepare false returns. So one thing is doing something by mistake, and the other thing is, you know, doing something that you know is wrong and you still do it. So let's say a client comes in and tells you, here's my W-2 form, but I also make this amount of cash on the extra, you know, that by cutting lawns or something like that. You tell him or her, you know what, you don't need to include that. It's okay. We're just gonna include your W form. So that's something that you know it's wrong and you still continue to do it. So just try to not do that. Not knowingly prepare false returns. Okay. Number 5, not engage in criminal, infamous, dishonest, notorious, disgraceful conduct. Just, in other words, don't get involved in any way with the law. Number 6, treat all taxpayers in a professional, courteous, and respectful manner. A lot of clients want our services. So in this type of year that is everything's so challenging, and I don't know if we're gonna be able to have a lot of volunteers to help a lot of clients. So they might be upset because, you know, they didn't get an appointment. They're taking way too long on his tax return because there's not enough volunteers, you know, and they might approach you like you know, unhappy. So you just want to be calm and assist them. We're here to help them, not make them feel more stressed. So just be professional with all your, also your volunteers there at the site. Okay. Okay, so like I mentioned before, there's volunteer requirements. There's also site requirements. So, and there's 10 quality site requirements. So certification, you want to be certified to the level that you want to fulfill. Like I said, if you want to be a greeter intake specialist, you will have to get your volunteer standards of conduct, which you're getting right now, and the intake and quality review training. So you have to have that. You just need to take the test that you want to, you know, fulfill. So the next one is intake, interview, and quality review process. So in our intake and interview, we have a form that it's basically a lot of questions for the tax payer, and we have to always fill that out. Like, we can't skip that step. It's a very crucial, especially this time around, because our greeter, our intake specialist, is the only one that's gonna have that contact with the client. So if you're a greeter, you must, you know, go through the whole questions with the client. We'll go over the form right now in a bit, but in the future trainings on January, we're going more in depth with them. Okay, so also the quality review process. We usually have 2 methods. One method is peer-to-peer. You might be filing a tax return, you might be preparing a tax return, and then your partner on the side will review your tax return. So basically it's like you prepare, they review. That's the process. Some sites, most sites, you know, all volunteers do the tax return, and we have a designated quality reviewer. So basically it's most of the time is our site coordinator that reviews, you know, the tax returns. It's prohibited for you to prepare and to review your own, you know, because you never know if you're making a mistake. You always want to have that extra, that person that can check it for you. Confirming photo identification and taxpayer identification numbers. So identity theft is very, you know, it's everywhere. And I've helped many clients that use a PIN because they have gone through identity theft. And we just want to have that every time. You want to see an identification from each client, every taxpayer, him and his spouse. You want to see an ID for them. If they have children, you want to see their social security numbers. So you always want to see that. What was I going to say? there are some clients that don't have a social security number. They have a ITIN number, and with that ITIN number, they usually bring a letter. So if they have an ITIN number, you need to see that letter, because they might say, oh, I know my number, but you don't know if they messed up. So that will create a bigger problem in the tax return. Some other clients don't have their social security card, and they bring a government issued letter, and that is acceptable because it's a government issued letter. So you can accept that.
Question, what about a previous return?
No.
No.
A previous return, no, because you didn't check it. So the tax preparer might have messed up. So you didn't verify it. You need to, just make sure you get the ID and the social, okay?
Yeah, because IRS gives you every year, it gives you a different number. IRS gives you a different number every year.
Okay. Okay, so reference materials. We at every site there will be reference materials. Like some of you picked up the 4012. This one would be at every site. If you still want to get it, I have a lot of copies, so just let me know if you don't feel comfortable using the one that's at the site, because other people are going to be using it. You can just ask me and you can take it. Yeah, but there's always resources, that those materials will guide you. If you have any questions, it will clarify. If you go to the 4012, page 5, it will tell you like all the forms that are in scope or out of scope. If you say, oh, like this is a form that I have never seen, let me go to the page 5 and look for it. And then you'll see, if you can continue doing that return and what level of certification. Number 5, like we mentioned before, the volunteer agreement form, the 13615, that one we do need it at every site. I really don't see an issue with that. Everybody just brings it, and it's signed by the volunteer and the site coordinator. Timely filing. We usually help the client the same day. We don't take the tax documents or anything and make her wait. We always try to prepare it, review it, and give it back to the client that same day. And that's the process that we're going to take this year. Just helping them that same day, that same night. Okay, civil rights. We have like a poster that is at every site. This information it's full with information, but it's regarding, like where people can contact if they feel that they have been discriminated, or volunteers that might have felt that way. It's there for the clients. So, and sometimes IRS sends undercover people. I don't know how it's gonna work this year, but they just make visits out of nowhere. They don't tell us. So they wanna check, does this site have this civil rights poster at every site? They just want to know if we're providing that for the clients and our volunteers. 8 and 9 are basically an identification number of the site. Every site has their own number. So with this number, we keep track of how many tax returns we've made, how many returns that were rejected by the IRS. That helps us find out, where we're at, how many income tax we prepared in the whole week. And security, you are dealing with clients' social security numbers, clients' W-2 forms. You just want to keep everything very private. You don't want to, leave something in the laptop and maybe somebody gets in the next day and sees it. It's just being careful with, with their personal information. Anybody have any questions? No?
How the civil rights gonna work this year with the mystery shoppers?
I'm thinking we're gonna put some information on our website, and also we're still gonna have the posters. and the entrances.
No.
Okay. The volunteer standards of conduct. The volunteer standards of conduct were developed specifically for free tax preparation operations. The Form 13615 Volunteer Standards of Conduct Agreement applies to all conduct and ethical behavior affecting the VITA TCE programs. All volunteers must agree to the standards prior to working in the VITA TCE free return preparation site. So like we mentioned before, you can't test at a site and then be like, you know, I already finished, let me print it out. You just want to be ready with your form. If you can print it from home or from a library and bring it, that's fine. If you can't, you can print it there, but just have it ready. You know, if the failure to comply with standards of conduct, there comes with consequences, you know, removal from the VITA TCE programs, inclusion in the IRS volunteer registry to bar future VITA activity, the deactivation of your sponsoring partner site, VITA TCE EFIN, the removal of all IRS products, supplies, equipment, and taxpayer information from your site. Termination of your sponsoring organizations, partnerships with the IRS. So what this means is that United Way won't be able to, you know, be in partnership with the IRS or VITA or having VITA with their organization. They won't be able to oversee the VITA program. Also, the termination of grant funds from the IRS to your sponsoring partner and referral of your conduct of potential TIGTA and criminal investigations. Okay, so I know I saw a few of y'all that came by and picked up your training materials. 6744 is where our test and our practice questions are at, and the 4012 is the publication that's gonna be at every site. If you want it, you can always email me and I'll give you a copy. It's a lot, so don't try to print it out. I have it here. Just save the trees. Okay. So a lot of people were wondering, you know, I'm worried because I want to volunteer, but I don't know, you know, the process of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and explain really quickly the process. So the clients will call the VITA direct phone number to schedule an appointment. That would be me. I'm gonna be here answering calls and somebody else. The client will be informed on the drop-off process and the guidelines to follow at each site. So they would already be expecting, you know, oh, okay, I'm gonna have to wait in my car, you know, and the documents and all that. The clients will be able to fill the form 13614C in advance by visiting our United Way website. Oh, I'm sorry. The VITA scheduler will mention the required forms and ask the client COVID-19 related questions. The VITA scheduler will provide the list of all clients' names and phone numbers that have set up an appointment at the sites. The clients must wait in their vehicle until they're called by cell phone. The greeter ensures that the return is within the scope of the program, and then they make them fill out a bunch of forms that are required. The greeter verifies their identity with the photo ID. The greeter ensures the client has all the required documents and identifies the preparer's need of level of certification. Based on the method of each site, the greeter will make either copies of the client's documents or they will keep their original documents in a publication 730 folder, which is this. It's just a paper folder where we'll keep like all the client's information. The greeter then informs the client to wait in the vehicle until they're called for questions to review on the tax return. The greeter assigns a tax return to a tax preparer based on their certification level. So most of our volunteers will be tax preparers, and you'll be inside the building, not with that direct contact with the client. If you want to be a greeter, you can you know, shadow, you know, the site coordinator for a little bit, and then once you feel more comfortable, you know, you can take the lead. The tax preparer reviews the intake form and all required documents in the folder and completes the income tax via tax layer. So there's going to be sites that are going to make copies of all the client's documents. It's going to take a little longer than just taking the client's actual documents. You always want to wear your gloves and be careful with touching, client's information, paperwork that were touched by the client. You just never know. So we're going to have gloves and we're going to have masks. If y'all don't have one, we're going to have, all the disinfectant supplies. If y'all feel like y'all have to wipe down, after touching that, the papers, you can do that. The tax preparer will complete the income tax return. And then if they have any questions, they can call the taxpayer via a cell phone. The taxpayer will mark the return as ready to review, and then they will let a quality reviewer know. Usually it's already assigned to somebody, like you're gonna check the review, so you will just let them know, hey, I'm done with this one, here it is. The quality reviewer will review it, and then the quality reviewer will call the taxpayer via phone and then review it with them through the phone. The quality reviewer will then give them the okay to meet at the building, and then they take the paperwork outside, and the taxpayer signs the documents, and the taxpayer now can leave the building. So basically that's the whole process. If y'all wanted a little more understanding, I know that a lot of y'all were asking, like, how is it gonna work this year? This is one of our plans. Just let me know if you have other questions. So like I said, our intake greeter is gonna be very crucial this year because they're gonna have that contact with the clients, and they're gonna have to fill out a lot of forms, like the form 14446, the virtual VITA taxpayer consent. It's not, they don't have to, fill out a lot of stuff. It's just their date of birth, a signature, email address. It's just a consent that they understand that they're not with the tax preparer face to face, and that they understand the process of the virtual drop-off method that we're taking. And also the client sign-in sheet, it's gonna look something like this. The clients will sign in here, and the intake, person or the greeter will have to read this to them just so they understand, there is a risk, even if it's small, we never know. But they do need to sign the liability waiver just regarding the responsibilities if they contract COVID. Okay, so this is the form that has a lot of questions, and we really need to fill out, to just gather that information that every tax preparer needs. Basically, it's I put it here in several pictures because I wanted y'all to see that everything has to be filled out. I know that this year it's gonna be different because before we would give it to the client and they would fill it out, but now they would fill it out as they wait. But now it's gonna be like, you fill it out when you're with me, like with the greeter. I'm gonna have to fill it out for you because some clients are a little slow, and you just can help them. It's much better for you to ask them the questions and fill that out. But you do want to get. You had a question? Anybody had a question?
Yes. Where is this going to be filled out? Are we going to be standing outside their car window? Do they come into a certain area to do
Yes,
this?
so it just depends on every site. We're planning to just let them know to come into the entrance of the building.
Okay.
So that's where you would meet. If you have to meet outside, because the sites have different, requirements. They're telling us, okay, we'll let you, but we don't want any client inside. So we have some sites that want you to go out and do this form, and we have some sites that say, you know what, you can come in and you can do it here in a table. You get me?
Right.
But in this case, yes, it's gonna be, the client has to fill that out, and you can help them. Just to make the process faster, when they do the appointment, they'll have the option to fill this out in advance. So hopefully we get a lot of people who fill it out and just bring it in filled out, just so you won't be out there so long.
Right.
So we have, their personal information, their dependent, marital status, income. We'll go more into detail in next trainings, but this is kind of like what it looks like. And on page 4, on the very back, they have to sign here. A lot of the times, I know last year we skipped this section here. It tells you, you know, what's your race, what's your ethnicity. But I realized when we were doing our grant for the IRS that we really needed this information. So try not to skip it because we use it for our grant and we get a lot of data from them. Okay, so, oh, and if you want to see it, it's an example, page 40 on your 47, 44. If you want to see it, you know, at home, in this booklet, 67, 44, page 40. When we're gonna have those, and they look like this. One color is gonna be in English, and in Spanish, it's gonna be green. I don't know if you can see me. Can y'all see me?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we can start with exercise 1. These are just, you know, a few examples that we're gonna go through. Okay, so taxpayer Edna brings her tax documents to the site. She completes that long form that I showed you. She indicates in part 3 that she has self-employment income along with other income and expenses. Joe, a volunteer tax preparer, reviews the form. She asks if she brought all her documents and asked to see them. Included in the documents is form 1099 miscellaneous, showing $7,500 of non-employee compensation in box 7. She tells Joe that she has a cleaning business that provides services to local businesses. Edna says that she also receives $4,000 in cash payments for additional cleaning work. When Joe asks if she received any documentation supporting these payments, she says no. The payments were simply paid to her for each cleaning job she performed. At this point, Joe suggests that because the IRS has no record of the cash payments, Edna does not need to report these payments on her return. Edna is concerned and feels like she will get in trouble with the IRS if she does not report all her income. Joe assures her that the chance of the IRS discovering that she did not report cash income is very small. Joe prepares the form 1040, the individual income tax return. On Schedule C, line 1, he only reports the $7,500 reported in box 7 from the miscellaneous 1099. Max, the quality reviewer, was unaware of this conversation and income and reviews the return. Edna, I'm sorry, I can't see it there. Edna assigns the, you know, authorization on her return and it is e-filed. So, you know, Joe's the one that prepared it and Max is the one that reviewed it, but he wasn't aware of that conversation, okay? So keep that in mind. Is there a volunteer standards of conduct violation and by who?
Sure.
Anybody wants to?
For sure, the first person.
Okay.
Yeah, as soon as somebody tells you, you can't unhear that.
Yeah. Anybody else has another? Oh, this isn't in the booklet. I'm sorry, I didn't specify. This is in the publication that I mentioned earlier. So we'll get to the questions on the booklet right now. Anybody have any other thoughts? Okay, yes. Joe violated standard 4, knowingly prepare a fraudulent return. What should happen to the volunteer? Volunteer should be removed and barred from working at the VITA site, added to the volunteer registry. And what should the volunteer have done? Cash income should be reported as income on Schedule C. Okay, so did everybody understand what happened there? Everything?
Mhm.
Yes, okay. Exercise 2. The taxpayer George completes form 13614C indicating part 2 that his marital status is single with one dependent, Amelia. Volunteer preparer Marge reviews the intake form and the taxpayer information document. When Marge asks if Amelia is related to George, He says no, that Amelia is a child of a personal friend who's not filing a tax return. Amelia's mother told George to claim the child and even gave him Amelia's social security card. Marge then asked whether George provided more than one half of Amelia's support, but George says no. He goes on to say that he could be able to claim Amelia as a dependent because nobody else was claiming her. Marge agrees that although Amelia is not George's qualifying child or relative, he can still claim her as a dependent because nobody else will. Marge goes on to suggest that the child could have been listed as George's niece who lives with him so that he can file as head of household and claim the earned income tax credit. Marge completes Form 13614C, Section B accordingly. Marge assures George that the chance of the IRS discovering that he and Amelia are not related would be very small. Marge prepares the return with the head of household status, claiming the earned income credit and the child tax credit for qualifying child, Amelia, for the qualifying child, Amelia. George signs the form 8879 and it's sent to the IRS. So, if you go to the, to your reference material 4012, there's a tab that says dependents on C, and you can, see there, if what the requirements are, to have a qualifying child in there. And this lady, Marge, didn't care and let George use Amelia as a dependent, even though she knew it wasn't right. So is there a volunteer standards of conduct violation? If yes, describe. Standard 4, knowingly preparing a fraudulent return. Although the taxpayer insisted on including the dependent, Marge knew this was wrong. So what should happen to the volunteer? The volunteer should be removed and barred from working at the VITA site and added to the volunteer registry. What should have the volunteer done? Can anybody say?
Yeah, informed him that he couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to screen those volunteers, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, or if he didn't want to handle it, is there somebody like a supervisor that, if a person is uncomfortable having to say, I can't do that, somebody
yes.
to be the heavy?
Yeah, so the volunteer should educate, George on dependent eligibility by using the publication 4012, like I mentioned. You can check there on the tab C, dependents, and refuse to prepare the tax return, report the incident to the site coordinator. So the site coordinator is the person you would want to go to if you had questions, regarding that. Okay. Exercise 3. Taxpayer Isabel completed the form 13614C, indicates that she does not have an account directly deposit refund. When a volunteer, James, prepares Isabel's return, it shows that Isabel is entitled to a $1,200 refund. James tells Isabel that a paper check may take up to 6 weeks to arrive. But if she has the funds directly deposited to her checking account, the amount would be available in up to 21 business days. He offers to have the money deposited to his own checking account, stating that on the receipt of the money, he would turn it over to her. Isabel agrees and allows James to enter his routing number and account information on her return. James gives the money to Isabel when he receives it. Okay, do y'all think there was a violation of standards conduct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, yes. Let's see. Yes, yes, so it's under 2. Do not accept payments, solicit donations, or accept refund payments for federal or state tax return preparation. So although the volunteer's intention was to help her, get her refund sooner, the direct deposit instead of being mailed putting his own account is problematic and could raise the question of misappropriation of the tax refund, or could be perceived as receiving a payment, for the tax return preparation. Generally, the VITA volunteer should only request direct deposits of the taxpayer's refund into accounts bearing the taxpayer's name. So even though he was trying to help, it can, be seen as something else for the IRS. So never loan out your routing and account number, because you just don't know, what the type of volunteer, who the type of volunteer is. Maybe if he would have decided, he wouldn't have gave her the money back. You just never know. So what should happen to the volunteer? The volunteer must be counseled that he cannot put any other taxpayer's refund into his own account. If this continues, he would be removed and barred from the site. So when you're doing also the intake, like the greeter and all that, you do need a request if they want it paper, paper check, or they want it directly to their bank. Because if they want it directly into the bank, they need to have the routing number and account number and the bank name. Sometimes they bring a check, but sometimes they forget. I think this is the thing that they forget the most. They forget to bring their direct deposit information. Okay, exercise 4. While volunteer Lily is completing Ryan's return, she notes that he is single and asks him if he would like to meet some evening at a local bar so they could get to know each other a little better. Although Ryan says that he would prefer she not call him, Lily says that she does not give up that easily, and she will call him later in the week. Ryan reports the conversation to the site coordinator before he leaves the site. Okay, is there a volunteer standards of conduct violation?
Definitely. Again, where are these volunteers coming from? Good God.
Okay, yes.
This would violate the professional conduct, right?
Yeah, professional conduct, and also violated standard 3 of, using the knowledge she gained, because she found out he was single, and used it for her own benefit. It was bothering him there a little bit. So just try not to do that. I know nobody does that, but this is extreme. What should happen to the volunteer? Lily should be reminded that she cannot use the taxpayer's personal information, marital status, or phone number for her benefit. So, you don't want to keep their phone number or anything like that. It's just their information. You want to keep that confidential.
A question, why on those last 2, they're just like, oh, you shouldn't do that? I think all 4 of them should be out of there.
Right? I'm not sure that's what the IRS says.
Really?
Maybe just, a warning. If not, that's it.
Yeah, because maybe the next person won't say, I'm not really comfortable with that.
Yeah.
And they get away with it. No, out of there. Okay.
Okay. So does anybody have any questions? I hope this is pretty clear. Okay, so the next steps, to complete your volunteer standards of conduct exam, you will need publication 6744. If you don't have it, I provided it, the PDF there on the chat. You can go to more chat, and it's here, right here. Or you can also go to the irs.gov and search for publication 6444. Once you have the publication 6444, you can complete the questions 1 through 10 on page 13 for standards of conduct. So if you have it with you, and you want to open it up, it's on page 13. If you have it with you, go ahead and open it up. Okay, so the test questions are going to be page 13. We can work on it together, and I thought of using Kahoot. If you want to join, go ahead and join through your phone. You just need to put this website on your phone, kahoot.it, and the PIN number.
Wait, don't go to the next page.
I know. Okay, I'll let y'all get the PIN, or I'll send it through the chat too.
I gotta put it in.
So if you don't want to do it through Kahoot, just make sure you have your booklet and you keep track of the booklet and the answers. I'm gonna put it in the chat. Ah, I'm sorry.
So it's HTTPS, then those things, and then Kahoot.it or what?
Kahoot.
Yeah, I just put cahoots.it.
Like that?
Okay. Let me go ahead and go to the Kahoot.
Okay. But it needed something. It needed a pin or it needed something.
It says again pin 214-147.
Let's see where it goes. Okay, now I'll use my book. Okay.
But we don't use it with Link and Learn.
Oh, actually, thank you for reminding me. We were gonna do it through Link and Learn, but the IRS hasn't updated, you know, the testing. So for now, we're gonna have to wait. Give me a second, okay?
I'll just wait for the Link and Learn.
Okay, I see a few people, 7 people. Does anybody need more time? Okay, I still see some people joining, so.
I'll just wait for the Link and Learn and that's it.
Okay, you can. Okay, so we were gonna do it through the Link and Learn. I don't know if anybody have already created the account, but the IRS hasn't updated the website. It's still the 2019 exam, and we're gonna have to wait until it's actually up there, the 2020 volunteer standards of conduct. So if you haven't created your account for Link and Learn, don't create it just yet. I'll let you know when to test. It's probably gonna be when we get our other trainings, okay?
The Kahoot is free or what?
Hmm?
The Kahoot is free. It's free.
Yeah, you can't find it?
No, I'll do it later on. But is it free?
Yeah. You just need to put your PIN.
All right.
No,
Okay.
mine doesn't get to a pin. It doesn't like something. It's not. I don't know.
Really?
Hmm.
Do you want me to put the link?
Yeah, maybe that might be easier.
Yeah.
Did it help you with the Link and Learn? Remember I sent you the link? Or it didn't help you?
Let's see. Oh, getting in. Are you talking to me, Norma?
Yes.
The sign in? No.
No.
I still have to put that train or whatever the thing is.
Train Pro Web.
I get in. No, I tried every which way. I got out. I can get in. That's the important thing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the important thing. I can get in, but no, it didn't.
It didn't let you. Okay.
No. Mm-mm. Okay. Come on. I'm doing my book.
Okay. Okay, so I think we're gonna go ahead and start.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sit down.
Right.
I can't hear you.
She froze.
Okay, so the first question is on page 13. Prior to working at all VITA TCE sites, all VITA volunteers must. So go ahead and select the answer you think is correct. A is the red one. Annually pass the volunteer standards of conduct test with a score of 80% or higher. Or B, sign and date form 13615 volunteer standard of conduct agreement. C, pass the advanced law certification. Or D, all of the above.
E.
E.
Okay. E?
Okay.
Who
Yeah.
said? I heard D and E.
E.
No, there's an E.
There's a go a little down there. It's just E. It's
Well, on my book, it shows E, both
Oh, okay.
A and B.
Okay, so you say A and B, right?
Yes.
Okay, A and B. Who else says something else? Okay, let's see. The correct answers were annually pass the volunteer standards of conduct certification test with a score of 80% or higher. Yeah, so that's something that, you know, the volunteer must complete, and also sign and date the form 13615 volunteer standards agreement. So not all the volunteers will be advanced.
Right.
Some are going to be basic, you know, certified. So, you know, not everybody's going to have that to take the advanced law certification. So for number one, the correct answer on your booklet is E.
oh yeah, and the
Right.
computer. It's just this. Right, where is it?
Are you showing me something? I can't see you.
On
Oh,
the on the
What is
computer.
that?
he's showing me.
You didn't answer it in time, that's why. Time's up.
¿Qué pasó, Bruce?
Hey, I put my nickname and it says time's up.
Rambo.
Oh, okay. So in the next one, I think you'll have more time.
And then I put my name and it says time's up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Use your book. It's
Next one. And
Okay,
then
so.
Don't forget the retest on 317.
Oh, let me see. Okay, so next, are y'all ready? Who got the point? Ooh, okay.
It's not fair. You guys are cheating.
I didn't get a point.
Okay, volunteer, right now let's show the questions. Can a volunteer be removed and barred from the VITA TCE programs for violating the volunteer standards of conduct? Who put no? ¿Quién puso no?
Hey.
It's A, okay. Yes, so
Very
volunteers
good.
can be removed and barred. You know, they need to follow, you know, the volunteer standard of conduct, and they need to follow also the site, you know, rules. Okay, ready? ¿Quién ganó? Okay, I still see the same person. Page 14. Number 3. I'm gonna zoom in a little, okay? Can y'all see it?
yeah, yes, much better.
If a taxpayer offers you $20 bill because you're so happy, they were so happy about the quality service they received, what would be the appropriate action to take? So A, take the $20 and thank the taxpayer for the tip. That's the red one. B, tell the taxpayer if it would be better to have the $20 deposited directly into your bank account from his refund. You know, it's more convenient. C, thank the taxpayer and explain that you cannot accept any payment for your services. Or D, refer the taxpayer to the tip jar located on the quality review and print station.
Sí.
No, don't be tricking people.
Mira, no me deja nada.
Okay. So good job. everybody, the taxpayer, you should thank the taxpayer and explain that you cannot accept any payment for your services. That was the correct answer. Number 3, page 14, correct answer was C.
But they could meet you later on for a drink and they can buy. But I'm not taking your money now.
Okay, let's see. Okay. Number 4, page 14. Jake is an IRS tax law certified volunteer preparer at the VITA site. When preparing a return for Jill, Jake learns that Jill does not have a bank account to receive a direct deposit of her refund. Jill is distraught when Jake tells her the paper refund check will take 3 to 4 weeks longer than the refund being directly deposited. Jill asks Jake if he can deposit her refund in his bank account and then turn the money over when he gets it. What should Jake do? So A, Jake can offer to use his account to receive the direct deposit and turn the money over to Jill once the refund is deposited. B, Jake should explain that a taxpayer's federal or state refund cannot be deposited into a VITA volunteer's bank account, and she will have to open an account with her own name to have the refund directly deposited. Or C, Jake can suggest she borrow the bank account number from a friend because the taxpayer's name does not need to be in the bank account.
B.
B.
Okay. I think we have 11 people, right? Okay, let's see.
Finally, I got in.
It's B. So Jake should explain that a taxpayer's federal or state refund cannot be deposited into the VITA volunteer's bank account, and she will have to open an account in her own name to have the refund direct deposited. So always their own name, no like a friend's bank account, nothing like that. Always check that, okay? So on page 14, number 4, we said it was B. And good job, everybody got that one right. Wow. Okay, number 5, page 14. Max prepares a tax return for Ali at the VITA site. He finds out during the interview that Ali has no health insurance. After Ali leaves the site, Max writes her name and contact information down to take home to his wife, who sells health insurance for profit. Which of the following statements is true? A, there's no violation to the volunteer standards of conduct unless Max's wife makes a big commission on the sale of the health insurance to Ali. B, Max has violated the volunteer standards of conduct because he's using confidential information to engage in financial transaction to further his own or another person's interest. C, Max is doing Ali a favor by using her personal information to secure business for his wife. Or D, information a taxpayer provides at the VITA TCE site can be used for volunteers' personal gain.
B.
Man, y'all are quick. Okay, it was B.
B.
Max has violated the volunteer standard of conduct because he's using confidential information to engage in a financial transaction to further his own or another person's interest, in this case, his wife.
I don't see my name there.
Number 6, page 15. Let me zoom in a little. Bob, an IRS tax law certified volunteer preparer, told the tax preparer that cash income does not need to be reported because the IRS does not know about it. Bob indicates no cash income on form 13614C. Bob prepares a tax return excluding the cash income. Jim, the designated quality reviewer, was unaware of the conversation and therefore unaware of the cash income, and the return was printed, signed, and e-filed to the IRS. Who has violated the standards of conduct?
A.
Who was,
It's A.
Bob?
Bobby.
Okay. We need one more. Okay. A. Bob, the tax law certified volunteer who prepared the return. He was the one that said, you know, you don't need to report it because the IRS does not know about it. And no, that's wrong. Wow, Teresa and Jace, you're just moving up and down.
I would have been first, but más que didn't want to work.
Oh no. Okay, number 7.
Number 6. Oh no, number 7. My bad.
Number 7, page 15. Sue, a VITA site coordinator, was watching the local news when she saw Aaron, a new law tax certified volunteer, in a story about several bank employees being arrested for suspicion of embezzlement. She saw Aaron being led out of the bank in handcuffs. 3 days later, Sue is shocked when she sees Aaron show up at the site ready to volunteer, apparently out of bond. She pulls Aaron aside and explains that his arrest on suspicion of embezzlement could have a negative effect on the site, and therefore she must ask him to leave the site. Sue uses the external referral process to report the details to the IRS spec by sending out an email to that email. Did Sue take appropriate actions as the site coordinator?
Yes.
I said yes.
Okay, remember you don't want to get in trouble with the law. We don't want,
Yeah.
people to know, that volunteer, I saw him in the news and now he's doing my income tax. It's you just don't want to get in trouble like that and just lose that opportunity of volunteering because of that.
Bad reflection on the agency, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 8, page 15. Heidi, a certified volunteer, is working in the intake station. As part of her duties, she's required to explain to the taxpayer what they're expected to do as part of the return preparation process. What should Heidi tell him? A. The Form 13614 intake interview and quality review sheet must be completed prior to having the return prepared. B. You will be interviewed by the return preparer and asked additional questions as needed. C. You will need to participate in a quality review of your tax return by someone other than your return preparer. Or D, all of the above.
D.
Yeah, D.
Oh,
Yes, D.
Yay.
Yay! So remember, we always want to fill out that form 13614, and then you interview. Once they finish that sheet, you look at it again and you interview them. Because that sheet determines if they have more forms that they have to have with them. If you can ask them questions and they might not, that they might not have understood, and you need to clarify. So you're just interviewing that client. So you fill out the form, you interview them back, and then you explain the process to them, and then you tell them, somebody else other than me, will prepare and review your return. Okay. Number 9, page 15. During the intake process, the volunteers should verify the taxpayers and the spouse, if applicable, the photo identification. Additionally, taxpayer must provide verification of taxpayer's identification number, social security number, or ITIN number for everyone who will be in the tax return. True or false?
True.
True.
Good job. So true. You always want to check, that photo ID. If it's a couple, you need to have ID from for the taxpayer and their spouse. If they have children, you need to ask for the social security card, and you do need to ask for the original copies of it. Sometimes they might say, I don't have it, but I have a picture of it. It just depends of your site coordinator. If the client, if the client comes and they're like, you know what, I've been here for I've been coming to the VITA program services for 10 years. They all know me. I don't know why you're asking me for my ID. I don't need to show you because they all know me. Well, it just depends on your site coordinator. If your site coordinator says, okay, yes, I know him, let me take him, oh, that's fine. But if you don't know him and your site coordinator doesn't know him, they need to provide that for you. So don't feel uncomfortable asking for it, even if they've been there for so long. Okay? Okay. Number 10, page 16. Mary, volunteer standards of conduct certified greeter, reviews the taxpayer's completed form 13614C, page 2, to identify what potential volunteer certification level is needed for this tax return. Mary sees that the taxpayer has checked yes box indicating that he has self-employment income, and the certification level next to the question is A. All other questions are answered yes as B certification. When Mary assigns the return to the tax preparer, what tax law certification level should the tax preparer have? So I don't think I went too into detail in this because, on our next training, we're going to review that form more in detail. But just remember that if a client has a certificate, if a client fills out that form and one of the questions that he answers yes has a A, it means that a volunteer that is certified advanced can help him. If there's an A, it has to be an advanced, tax preparer. If there's a B, oh, everybody got that one right. If if there's a B, if there's B's all over, the sheet, it's a basic certification needed. But as long as there's an A, it automatically goes to advanced certification. And we always try to get all our volunteers certified in advance, and everybody does very great. It's everybody's there at the site helping each other out. If you have a question, they're very nice. With that, so if don't worry if you have no experience, or when I started, I felt very uncomfortable, but everybody's so helpful. Okay, so 10 out of 10. Let's see who won. Third place, San Juanita. Second place, Eileen. And first place, JM.
I didn't do it there, but I did it on my book. I got them all right.
You got it all right.
Yes.
Well, as long as everybody got all the questions and we worked together, because this is basically your test. So hopefully you got all the answers and kept track, because when Lincoln Learn updates their test, you can go ahead and go in there and test, but don't do it until I let you know, because they haven't done it yet. But hopefully they do it in the mid-November, right, Marlon? When was it?
Right before Thanksgiving.
Before Thanksgiving. Well, if you have questions, you can just message me, and then we'll see. Okay, so difficult question. Oh, I think the first one was just we ran out of time, right?
Yeah.
So prior to working, all volunteers must show or annually pass the volunteer standard of conduct test and sign and date the form 13615. Okay, so Does anybody have any questions? If you don't have like I said, if you don't have it, you can come by. Just message me before you do. That way I'm expecting you when I'm here at the office.
Oh,
Uh,
so we can send you an
I have a
email?
question.
Yes, go ahead.
What are your hours there?
Well, just reach out to me and then I'll let you know, because sometimes we do have meetings, and I just leave and we're busy. Anybody else have questions?
We're under lock and key, so you have to call for us to go out there.
Oh yeah, our office is closed, so I know a lot of y'all came through the garage door, but if it's just one of you, I'm not gonna open the whole garage door. I'm just gonna go out through the front door.
Marlene, no te oí.
No me oíste.
No.
Okay, anybody have questions regarding the site, process? Do y'all feel comfortable? Like if y'all think, y'all didn't understand?
Is everybody new to the program, or we have some repeats, or what?
Some repeats.
I'm new.
Tell me
Some are
that.
new, some are repeats. I sent out a form,
Ruth is new?
yeah, to fill out to see if you were a previous volunteer. Some of y'all filled it out, some of y'all haven't yet. Just go ahead and fill that out.
Yeah,
Um,
Yeah, go ahead and fill that out, because you may be wanting to get your feet wet, Bruce. There is a new test, and it's called the Quality Experience Volunteer, or something to that effect. I haven't really gone through it, but they have that test, and it's more scenarios and more good stuff, more mambo jumbo.
what's that, Marlene?
The qualified or experienced volunteer or something. They
yeah.
have more advanced scenarios.
Wow, I wanna go for that too.
Yeah,
I'm an experienced volunteer.
yeah.
Yeah, Bruce is our #1 volunteer. He always helps us out every year. So if y'all ever work with him, he's really helpful. And like I said, a lot of our sites, I don't know if a lot of y'all are new or not, but a lot of our sites did close down. I know like 3 of them are not going to be open this year. So, and we are going to have a limit of volunteers. So we're still working on how to, schedule everybody to get their volunteer hours. We usually have an amount of hours to complete for y'all to, get a little something towards the end. We're still working on that. So as soon as I get more information, I'll let y'all know on that. Okay?
Janet, can you say something? Okay, who's new? Who's new to the program?
I'm new.
I'm new.
You're new. Welcome to the VITA program.
Thank you.
This year we might do it different with Marlene and Janet. Marianne has been helping us out too. Marianne. Just to let you guys know, don't be scared. Don't be scared. We're here to help you guys out. Anything you need, just ask Janet or Marlene. And also, I don't know if Martin's gonna help us out, Martin.
I think he is. I'm not sure if he's
If you don't know,
Janet.
okay. If you don't know, Martin's is Marlene's son. He will also help you guys out in the way.
Yeah.
Don't feel scared. Just maintain yourself. Whatever question you have, just let Martin, Marlene, and Janet help you guys out. Okay.
So I know that I'm gonna have more trainings in the future. So if y'all feel that if y'all want another training, just let me know and see, if everybody else thinks the same, we might have another training, just to go a little slower. Because the next training in January, I know it's usually a lot of information. So if y'all want to break it out, into sections, we can. maybe we can do like a maybe get together and help each other out before the other meetings. So that's basically all I have. If y'all have any other questions, reach out to me. Thank you so much for everybody that signed up, and I'm hoping to see y'all in January. Hopefully sooner, December, I'm not sure, but till January, everybody has signed up. I've seen y'all and I've emailed y'all constantly, okay?
Oh, Janet and Marlena, it's gonna be the same way we had it on United Way on the Super Week.
Probably.
Probably so.
Mm-hmm. So we already have gone through, the whole process, maybe like a pilot program here at United Way. We're going to be a site now. Palmview Community Center is no longer going to be open. So we're going to take their hours and we're going to do, the best we can at each site, doing that drop-off method. It might be confusing at first, but we'll get the hang of it. Okay. Thank you so much. I hope everybody has a good afternoon.
I have a quick question.
Oh, go ahead.
Where was the form, the volunteer one? It was going to be in the 4012 or in the 6744?
You mean the form that you need to turn in?
Right.
Oh, thank you for reminding me. I was going to clarify that. That form is available when you pass all your tests through Link and Learn. And when you log in through Link and Learn, I'll show you when the IRS updates it, where you can select it and print it out. But it's not through it. There's an example here. What page was it?
13.
I don't remember what page I said. But there's the
Are you talking about the test?
I'm talking about the volunteer agreement.
Oh.
There's an example of how it looks, but it's just so you can see how it looks and what it asks you for. If you're like underage, it has like a space for your parents to sign, so you can volunteer. But just so you can see it.
It's on page 20 and 21.
Oh, I ran out down.
No, the Volunteer Standards of Conduct Agreement, that's on page 20.
Oh, yeah.
The
It's
Form
just
13615?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, it's there. That's just an example how it looks, and a little summary of what you're agreeing to. But you can read it through there. Once you get certified on all your tests, you can print it out, and I'll show you when the IRS updates all that. Okay, and I'll let you know when to test. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Janet.
Thank you.
How may I help you?
It's after hours. Nobody's here.
I know. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. We'll see you in January. Bye.